Hello, thank you for joining me again this week. Now, I'm going to start doing a series of videos that I've been requested to do. People say, what exercises should I do to build up this muscle group or that muscle group? So I decided I'm going to start with one of the most popular, the chest muscle. So I'm going to give you my top 3 exercises to build a bigger chest. So, number 1. So I'm going to start at number 3, then number 2, then number 1. Number 1 will be the one that I would highly recommend the most. And number 3, yes, I highly recommend it, but not as much as number 1. So starting the list with number 3 would be the incline press. Now, I would recommend doing this with dumbbells because it affects number 1. But if you're doing this, you're exercising more the upper part of the chest. I think as well with that you'll be exercising part of the shoulder, which all comes in with the chest, building up that bigger muscle and that bigger look. So you want to be doing this at about a 30-degree angle. I do this with dumbbells, as I say. Get that little bit of incline and just press it up. Now, if you end up having too high an incline, let's say around 60 degrees, you're going to end up focusing more on the shoulder. Now, we want to get as much on the chest as we can, but we know that some is going to be on the shoulder. That's why when training shoulders, I'd highly recommend not doing as many exercises for the front deltoid as you do with the rest of the shoulder. So, moving on to exercise number 2 would be the flies. Now, there's tons of variations to do this. Again, I do this with 2. I do this with dumbbells and cables. So, the flies are where I'll tell you one first, where you lay down on a bench, a flat bench, you grab dumbbells in your hands, and you get a little bit of bend in your elbows, and do this sort of motion. Now, you should feel it stretch when you're out wide, and tense when you're in. That's also the same with what's called the pec deck. Where again, this time, however, you're sat up on a machine and there'll be 2 bars either side and you're just squeezing them together. That's very similar to the dumbbells, except it's on a machine and you are sat up. One other one that I do is with cables. So what you want to do is you want to set it to a height around the middle, and set it to a light weight. I do this for a lot of reps. It's my high rep exercise on the chest, and I'll do 4 sets of 30 reps. So again, I'm just there. You want to be stood central so you're getting a nice even distribution onto the chest. The flies are going to work more with the side chest from that side. But you just, again, it's always a similar sort of motion where you're grabbing cables, pulling them in. You want to do this nice and steady. This exercise is quite easy to put too much weight on, especially with the dumbbells. You're kind of putting way too much weight on and you're not getting a full range of motion. So with the flies, definitely keep it nice and light. One thing just to be careful of is the actual, not the shoulder muscle, but the shoulder tendons. Like before, I've hurt my shoulder doing this, but again, I had too much weight on and I wasn't doing it properly. Instead of getting that full range of motion, pulling all the way back on a nice light weight to tense up the chest, I put some really heavy weight on. I was only going like that, and it were working more of the shoulder, and I did end up hurting my shoulder quite badly. So moving on to exercise number 1, of course, I'm a power lifter. It's obviously going to be the bench press. So I recommend doing exercise number 3, the incline press with dumbbells, because again, being a power lifter, I'm going to recommend doing the bench press with a barbell. So the bench press is going to get a full obliteration of the chest muscles, tearing all those small fibres. Again, one thing to mention with all chest exercises, where you're doing the pushing motion, you are going to work a bit of your triceps, because when you're doing tricep exercises, you're locking those arms out. But with the positioning of your arms and the positioning of the weight, you are going to heavily focus on the chest a lot more. So let's say, for example, the bench press. That might target 75% chest and 25% triceps. Obviously it done because you've got a bit of shoulder in there, a little bit of back, a little bit of legs with that bit of leg drive, if you've got proper form and technique. But you've got to look, what is this exercise mostly targeting? It's mostly targeting the chest. You also see most people enjoy doing the bench press, and it's in everyone's routine, and there's a good reason why everyone enjoys it and it's in everyone's routine. It's a good exercise, and it's the most recommended exercise that anyone will tell you to work your chest. I agree with them. So, in conclusion, if you only do these 3 exercises and you're doing them week in, week out, I believe you will build a bigger chest. Any other exercises that you do, they obviously will help, but these are your 3 main ones. Like, off the top of my head, I can think you might do a decline bench press, but that's going to target really low on the chest, and it's only going to get a small percentage of chest, whereas these other 3 are going to get a higher surface area on the chest. That's why I prioritise these 3. So, thank you for joining me. Next week's episode is going to be on a little bit late because I'll be competing on the Sunday. So I'm going to give you a full competition overview of British Powerlifting's Northwest Powerlifting Championships. I'll be competing on the Sunday, as I said, in an open competition. So it's open to anyone, all ages, all weight classes. It's split between male and female, and it's done on a points system, which basically who's the best pound for pound lifter on the day. There's like 30 of us men, so fingers crossed I can at least place top 3. Because remember, there's going to be people in the prime, and I've only just turned 15. So if podium is my dream, if not, I'm going there to get big numbers and keep myself competition fresh and ready going into the new year. So thank you for joining me again, and I will see you in next week's episode.